So if you're ready to boost your English skills and expand your vocabulary, stick with us till the end. Alright, let's kick things off. Joining us today are our language learners, Sarah and Jack. Hi Sarah, hi Jack.
Hi everyone, I'm very excited to share some tips on how to learn English quickly and easily.
Hey there, learning English quickly can seem daunting, but with the right strategies, it's definitely achievable.
Absolutely. So let's start with the basics. Sarah, what motivated you to start learning English?
Well, I've always been fascinated by different cultures, and I knew that learning English would open up so many opportunities for me, whether it's traveling, studying abroad, or connecting with people from around the world.
That's great, Sarah. For me, it was mostly practical reasons. English is widely spoken in many countries, and I knew it would be beneficial for my career and personal growth.
Immersion is key when it comes to language learning. Sarah, how do you immerse yourself in the English language?
One of the best ways I've found is to surround myself with English content. I watch English movies and TV shows, listen to English music, and read English books and articles whenever I can.
That's a great strategy, Sarah. I also like to practice speaking English as much as possible, whether it's having conversations with native speakers or practicing with language exchange partners online. Speaking regularly really helps improve your fluency.
Building vocabulary is crucial for mastering any language. Jack, how do you expand your English vocabulary?
I like to use flashcards to memorize new words and phrases. There are also many apps and websites available that offer vocabulary building exercises and quizzes, which make learning fun and interactive.
Absolutely, Jack. Another tip is to make use of context. When you encounter a new word, try to understand its meaning based on the surrounding sentences or situations. It helps reinforce your memory and understanding of the word.
Grammar can be challenging, especially for beginners. Sarah, how do you tackle grammar rules in English?
Practice, practice, practice. I find that using grammar exercises and worksheets really helps solidify my understanding of grammar rules. There are also many online resources and tutorials available that break down grammar concepts in a clear and concise manner.
I agree, Sarah. It's also helpful to incorporate grammar into your daily activities. For example, try writing journal entries or emails in English, and pay attention to your grammar usage as you write.
Learning a new language takes time and patience. Jack, what advice do you have for our viewers who may feel discouraged at times?
Consistency is key. Set aside dedicated time each day to practice English, even if it's just for 15 to 30 minutes. And remember, progress may be slow at times, but every small step counts towards your overall improvement.
Absolutely, Jack. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. It's all part of the learning process. Be patient with yourself, celebrate your progress, and keep pushing forward.
Well, that brings us to the end of our conversation. But before we go, let's take a moment and learn some of the difficult words and phrases we used throughout our discussion.
Learning English quickly can seem daunting.
We use the word daunting to describe something that feels challenging or overwhelming. It's like looking at a big task and feeling nervous because you're not sure if you can handle it. Daunting is a way to express that something seems difficult or scary to deal with. Imagine you're just starting to learn how to play chess all by yourself. You're trying to remember how each piece moves and practicing moving them around the board. But as you try to figure out all the rules and remember what to do, it might feel a bit scary because there's so much to learn. That feeling, that's what we mean when we say something is daunting. Starting a new school might seem daunting, but soon you'll make new friends and feel more comfortable. Working the night shift for the first time can be daunting, as you will have to get used to sleeping during the day and working when it's dark outside while everyone else is asleep.
Well, I've always been fascinated by different cultures, and I knew that learning English would open up so many opportunities for me.
We use the word fascinated to describe when something catches our attention and makes us want to learn more about it. It's like when you see a cool science experiment or hear an interesting story that you just can't stop thinking about. Fascinated is a way to say that something is super interesting and makes you curious to know more about it. Imagine you're watching a magician perform tricks and you can't take your eyes off the stage. You're completely drawn in by what's happening. It's like you're under a spell. Well, that feeling you get, that's what fascinated means. Emily was fascinated by the colorful patterns and shapes formed by the bubbles as she blew them into the air. The only way to become excellent is to be endlessly fascinated by doing the same thing over and over.
For me, it was mostly practical reasons. English is widely spoken in many countries, and I knew it would be beneficial for my career and personal growth.
We use the word practical to describe something that is useful or sensible in a real-life situation. It's like having tools in your toolbox that you know will help you get the job done efficiently. Imagine you have a toolbox with different tools in it, like a hammer, screwdriver, and wrench. Now, each tool has a specific job it can do well. The hammer is good for pounding nails, the screwdriver for tightening screws, and the wrench for turning bolts. Well, practical is like saying a tool is useful for the job it's meant to do. Sarah's decision to take public transportation instead of driving was a practical choice, considering the high cost of parking downtown. The most practical way to change who you are is to change what you do. Immersion is key when it comes to language learning. Sarah, how do you immerse yourself in the English language? We use the word immersion to describe fully surrounding oneself in a particular environment or experience. It's like diving into a pool of water and being completely surrounded by it. Immersion in language learning means surrounding yourself with the language you're trying to learn as much as possible, so you become familiar with it naturally. Imagine you have a cup of tea and you put a tea bag in hot water. As the tea bag sits in the water, it becomes completely surrounded and soaked by it. Well, immerse is like saying you're completely surrounded or soaked in something, but instead of water, it's an experience or a language. Immersion in nature can have a calming effect on the mind and body, reducing stress and anxiety.